Hey, thanks for coming to the channel. Okay, so today I am reporting that I have found even more problems. I know you were really worried about that. You woke up this morning all concerned about my software. I know. I appreciate that. Anyway, so I'm sharing what's happening. Um, there are codes that are reported in the car that are not necessarily reported through the standard OBD2 call, meaning that if I go and P1000 is one of these errors, and that's kind of the title of this video, because if you're, first of all, if you're getting a P1000, all that means is that somehow your computer got reset within probably on the F-150, it could be a couple hundred miles, because that one last EVAP monitor takes, I don't know how long to reset. But it doesn't mean anything's wrong with the car. But it does indicate that the computer has not fully satisfied all of its self-tests, which could take a couple hundred miles in some cars, could be done in tens of miles in other cars. But this wasn't getting reported on my old software. We're at version 1.14.0014. Any version before this, you were not getting these manufacturer type codes. And what's really weird is what I did was I pulled the throttle, the connector off the throttle body of my F-150, just that one connector, and it caused these 4 codes. And I was able to verify that with another scanner that, is just retail scanner. And it's hard, of course, again, like, oh my God, my stuff doesn't see it, and so I had to do some investigating. Obviously, I found something, right? So what we're looking here at here is my CAN monitor commander. The monitor is in rough shape, but the commander is actually pretty good. I added this headers thing here. What it does is it when you initialize with this clicked on, leave these to the default. And it'll communicate with your car fine. If you mess with either one of these, it may not communicate with your car. If these were really meant for a standard CAN, but just leave those default. The headers you could turn on or off, doesn't matter. But what happens is with the headers on, any type of response, I'm going to send this out. This is in fact the command that I'm getting all those DTCs on. What you'll notice is you get a multi-line response. And the first 3 digits is the address of the ECU. The 4th digit actually indicates whether it's a single or multi-line. 0 would mean single line. This is all one response, multi-line. And the 1 means the first line. The 2 means could be the 3rd, the 4th, the 10th, or the 5th, anything other than the first line of a multi-line. And then the 3rd digit here, the 5th digit here is the actual sequence number of the multi-line packet. The rest of it's all data, right? Up to the point where, let's see, that first OE, which is actually 15, right? That right there, that's actually the count of bytes. So this will end before these zeros, actually, right? Okay, so anyway, this is the response. And if you look here, what you'll see is there's the count. There's a 58, which is a response to the 18. And then there's 4, which indicates that there are 4 DTCs, the first one being 1000. With the status of FF. The status, I believe, means I'm not sure, actually, so I'll just leave that. Second DTC is 2100, skipping past those first parts, right? The third one is 2107, the 4th one, right? And if we wanted to just see what they were, right, this is what they are. So I'm just running. I've already updated the code to do this in the software. So now we're seeing this. Even if I cleared and got everything right with everything, you would still have that P1000 there until all of my monitors were clear. What are my monitors? My monitors are these guys right here. This will give you your monitors, right? So these 4 monitors here, until all these are done, which could take many miles, until all those are done, then this P1000 is always going to be lit up in my F-150. Now, what's interesting is my Impala has nothing of this, nothing of the sort. If I sort of switch over to I have the two cars, my Impala over here on the Bluetooth, and I grab from that. It actually, I think I just pulled off the evap, I believe, so it should have a pending, I think. Okay, are we, let's see, I think that's the right Bluetooth. Of course, we're having the cars are outside, I'm inside, and there we go. I think I got it that time. Right, I have just this one pending. But if because I pulled the evap off, if I cycle the key, it'll become confirmed. But if this had no, if this I just plugged it in, it would just say no codes found. And I haven't seen with any other scanner, it's seeing any other codes reported. So, but here's something interesting, right? So if I go to this CAN guy, and anyway, so if I go to this CAN guy and I send this, now I'm hooked up to, first of all, I'm hooked up to the truck here, right? So if I come in here and I ask for, using this, make note of this, you could send this out on a terminal and get your PIDs. So if I send, if you were using a terminal, you would probably, let me initialize what you would probably see if you're using just a regular terminal program, because you probably wouldn't set headers. So I'd send that, and this is probably what you would see from the terminal header. Here's our OE, which is the number of bytes. See, the format changes without the headers, but we have no idea what processor it came from. Anyway, so here's how we get our DTCs. Now check this out. What I originally was doing is, if you look on Wikipedia or around the internet, you're going to find, you send 03, and then it's going to report, and this is what it reports, 00. 4300 means no DTCs. So what it's actually saying is there are no emission-related, so your standard 03 is emission-related DTCs that would turn the mill light on. There are no emission-related DTCs that would turn the mill light on, but my truck is immobile with the throttle disconnected. That thing's not going anywhere. That thing's not going to work, right? I don't know if the light is on or not, but that's some crazy stuff, right? And then to see, so this is all my software, and then the software used to give you nothing. So of course now. And I'm just showing this to you. I'm sharing this. Not making it a secret. Send 4 bytes out on a terminal, or it's just a string 1800FF0, right? And then you should get your actual manufacturer's codes. Now, what bothers me is this doesn't match up with the spec. The spec says 18 is the first digit, last digit is 0. But where the spec gets me thrown off is the group could be FF or 80 or 40 or 00, but none of those other numbers work. 00 is supposed to be just the engine, or just one set of, right? And the 12 is saying, look, you gave me some of these numbers over here are messed up. So I don't know if I have to, so I was playing with it, and these are the bits. These are actually which, I forget there's a designation like which bit means what. Just putting FF there should get you all statuses of everything. So nothing is making sense with the spec. Yeah. And I just happened to be playing with it, and I said, what happens if I just, I was just going for the real simple low-hanging fruit stuff. I'm saying 00, FF 00, and then I send out, and I'm like, whoa, and then I see, and then it's legit codes. It's the codes that my scanner was seeing. So I'm like, okay, let me incorporate this, what I'm observing. I also incorporated 2 other methods to get other data. There's also a 13 mode. What is it? 13 mode. Right. And 11 instead 7F13 means a response to 13. 11 saying I don't support it at all. So the F150 doesn't support this 13, which is like 03, but it's like in a different mode. So this is supposed to work on some cars. So I try this in the software anyway, and if I get back, it doesn't do anything. It just passes. It tries this. It tries this. It tries another thing, and then it does the original 03. So I do all this now when I get the codes. I run through all this stuff. And the upshot of it is like, hopefully, okay, this is actually hooked up to the Ford right now. So let me the Impala. So let me run over to the Ford, which is the Wi-Fi, and it's done. They come in here and you read the code, and this pulls in the code. You better pull in the code, something. Right. And then here we are. And here is our here's our codes, which before I was reporting nothing. So now we're rolling in. Now I'm very pleased to say, at least on the Ford, I'm pulling in manufacturer's DTCs. Now, here's the other thing. If you have a non-Ford, right, let's say this thing just interprets these codes as they come in, right? So whatever you set it to interpret them while it's reading, it won't change them on the screen. So if I read it again under generic, it'll be like, what's this P1000? Watch, right? P1000. It'll just say this is reported by ECU. So, and this is the other thing. If you were getting a code in the other, oh my goodness, in any version before version 10014, if you would get a code that it didn't have a word definition for, it wouldn't even report it. So I had to change that. Now what it'll do is if your car if I go through all those loops and everything trying to get codes out of your car and it reports it, and I can't say what it is, like in a generic sense, I don't know what P1, I'll still just say it's reported by ECU now. Where before I wouldn't even report it. You believe this guy? Me? Anyway, so these are big improvements. I cannot turn this thing out of testing until I can go a week or two without finding this is a ridiculous problem. I saw somewhere, and I'm in and out of forums and everything, and somebody just wrote a comment that really got to me. Didn't get to me. It struck me about how a more capable software would be able to handle these manufacturer codes. And I'm thinking, wow, my software is not even capable. It's not capable, right? Because this guy's right. I think it was a guy. He's right. A capable scanner can do the job. So I'm trying to make it capable. So here it is. Here's the update. I have to, I'll make this whatchamacallit guy here available, but it's buggy, man. The monitor I know is not picking up everything. I know the monitor is not picking up everything. You might see it in the background. Remember this monitor? Oh, this is crazy. But the commander is real useful. You're definitely, it's like, and if you're like messing around with torque, and you find some PIDs, this is a real easy way I found, even just to kind of test them. A lot of them are like 22, right? The Fords and the GMs are like 22, 11, and then there's, the last number is like all kinds of different. Now these are just reads, right? Yeah, I don't know what this is. This is a legit response. 62 is a legit response to like 22 code. You get a 62 response. So there's a whole regiment of PIDs up here that start with 22, 44. I think this is like AC pressure or something. Yeah. The oil temperature, transmission temperature, all those things in torque. But what you could do is you can use this app to just kind of send it and see right away, is it going to give me a value? Because let me find something that probably doesn't work. FF probably doesn't work, right? See the 12. See what it's saying? It's saying, F7F is a response to 22 command. It's got the wrong parameters. 12 means it's bad parameters, right? So if I just I'm just coming off the top of my head. If I pick a correct parameter, right, the car's off. So a lot of these are going to be 0 because a lot of them are pressures and temperature. Well, temperature shouldn't be 0, but anyway, so this is saying like 62, 11, 06 responded with a 00, which I have no idea what this is. But this is something. This is something in a GM, whatever car. What are we talking to here? Oh, we're talking to the Ford. Let's talk to the GM and see if even any of these work. I think they work in the GM too, a lot of them. Okay. 31 means that you're out of range. I think the GMs were like 44. don't remember. I don't know. So there's all kinds of, this 22 is like a manufacturer's, trying to remember. I think, O2 does something. I'm talking to the, all right, so this is getting boring, right? Okay, so I don't know what's going on. Let me initialize real quick. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. This does 29-bit CAN. I didn't even know it. And it does. It'll support it. I have to make a video on that. Alright, I don't know what's going on over here. But the GM doesn't support this 18 command. And the GM, see, the spec says that you have to respond. Like, as a car man, you have to respond to every command. And GM's like, I just don't. I'm not responding. I'm not answering. I'm not even acknowledging that. I try to send in this 13 command. Alright, send that in there. And it's just, I don't think it says anything. It just says nothing. No data. I send in my O3 command, which is this typical get DTCs. See, now on the GM, the O3 command is the only thing I know how to send in there that'll get me a report on the DTCs. Whereas on the Ford, there's like a couple of different ways. Let me initialize that with the headers on. And then one more time, I got 2 responses. And if you remember, without the headers, you couldn't tell what the ECU was. So I'm running the response one more time. The request. Oh, I'm initializing. I meant to. Right, so here I'm doing the O3. And I believe the EA is the transmission. And then what happens is, it's offset by 8. So 7E0 is actually talking to 7E8. So if I say, 7E0 and set that to the ID. Now if I send out an O3 command, now I'm only talking. Now I'm addressing that engine ECU directly. I could also do the same thing with the transmission. If I go 7E2, which is plus 8 is EA. Ah, damn it, I didn't mean to init. That was stupid. Set ID to 72. And then send. Now I'm just talking to the transmission, which is 7EA. Did you catch that? I don't know. That's kind of crazy. But if I go back to 7DF, which is like the broadcast ID, and then send the O3, both of them respond at the same time. Shut the headers off. Initialize. Send. And then we don't have the headers. And then, but still I can, if I happen to just know 7EO is the engine controller, I believe, engine ECU. I can still just talk to that ECU with, so setting the headers is only about the data coming back. And, okay, anyway, so that was the thing. That was a pretty big deal here. So I don't know. Hopefully that will be able to, this thing will be able to pull up codes. It still is a little unpredictable. I'm still a little leery about, I don't know, some of those other ways of pulling the code that I haven't seen work, but I sort of have in the code. I'm a little concerned about those tripping over each other or reporting bad values. Like, yeah, all right. I can get more technical, but then it gets even worse than it is already. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you. I got an updated version out there, and I put it out there, and that's it, man, right? Okay, so thanks a lot for coming by. Thanks a lot for watching and checking out the videos and downloading, messing around with the software, and boy, there's just forever work to be done, right? Okay, so anyway, I'm long in the tooth here with my talking, so thanks a lot. Really appreciate you coming by, and I hope you have a great day.